So, today I wanted to talk about one of the concepts that really freaks me the fuck out, and that is, well, not mob mentality, but when society is stripped and everything you accomplished in the conventional world, as is right now, when that is gone and you're just you, um, what what are you prepared to do? So I've been writing a lot about this, trying to figure out what my standpoint actually is, because I know people say you write what you know, but I don't. I mean, I like to write what I don't know, so I have to sort of put myself into that mindset and explore ways of thinking that I've never even touched down on in my normal life. So maybe we all think that we're going to be the hero running down the street guns blazing, but maybe you'll be the one hiding behind the 10 others. I find that the scariest thing is people. People are frightening, and that is what makes like zombie movies so efficient. It's not the zombies, it's the people. Um, Take a movie like The Mist. What is scary in The Mist is not the monsters, it's not the fog, it's the people in the supermarket. It's the mob mentality that happens when that crazy lady wants to sacrifice the kid. And everybody just, yeah, good idea, let's do that. Um, and you sit there and go, that is the craziest thing I ever heard. Why would that make a difference? But then again, people are ready to do some crazy ass shit for survival, and that is what makes humans so damn scary, right? Now, talking about zombies, if you ever read uh, things like the comics The Walking Dead, you'll see that several times in the comics we're introduced to these settlements with people trying to carry on like they did before the world went to shit. But there's always this weird twist, like a crazy zealot or um, a dictator or a sociopath or you name it. There's always somebody who benefits more than others. And you can ask yourself if that is human nature, like both things, like trying to restore what was back when we sort of knew who we were, or just give in to whatever survival instincts you have. And that is what makes zombie movies or zombie literature so interesting. It is that people return to instincts when there are no rules left. Um, when you fight for survival and there's no repercussions like jail or fines or what have we, then what? I'm not going to go into Maslow, but anybody who had any type of psychology classes will know who he is. So very fast, he made this pyramid, sometimes in the 1940s, I think. And this pyramid represents a person, what we need to be happy people or content people. So in the bottom, what you need the most of, sort of like the food pyramid. So like the food pyramid, in the bottom here we have what you need the most, and that is to not be sick, to be physically healthy, to not be in pain, um, And the next one is to have a safety net or security, feel safe and secure. And the next one is to have a social life, to interact, to be seen and heard, and to be loved. And above that is self-esteem. So if you have all these three underneath, that will sort of feed your self-esteem. And the top is self-satisfaction, which means to pursue whatever hobbies or dreams that you have, like poetry, or I want to be a fireman, or something, right? But when we're talking about the earth, the society, the world ended, we're talking about the bottom two, maybe the bottom three. Because realizing your dreams in feel good about yourself might not really be the top of anybody's survival list. To not be in pain or injured or otherwise impaired is the most important thing for survival. And this safety, security, I sort of see that if you override it to like a apocalypse setting, must be that you have food, or you have guns, or maybe you, I don't know, found somewhere to board yourself up, or is in a community of people which sort of interacts with the next one, which is about having a social life, or other people. There's other people in your life, other people you can relate to. Um, so the way this pyramid is set up is, if you do not have the bottom two, chances are that you won't be thinking about the third or the fourth, or so on. So maybe if we use this pyramid to say, this is what makes people band up in groups, and this is what creates the mob mentality, because the more people, the more likely it is that you will be safe and that there will be food. And if you're impaired, somebody, or injured, somebody else will bring you food. There's somebody to listen to, there's somebody to talk to. So the way I see this pyramid, if you hold it up against like an apocalypse, then to not be injured or something is just the basics of survival. The other parts is just as important. I mean, the bottom three parts is just as important. And I would imagine that your need for social interaction at some point would override your survival instincts, because if we don't talk to other people, we will go nuts eventually. And I think we're a very social creature. We need other people to sort of mirror ourselves against. Like, am I doing the right thing? And I will look to you to sort of answer me. And if you and I decide this is the right thing, then in some aspect it is. But I'm not here to talk about social experiments or whatever, psychology. I'm just saying that I think that it's the reason that people don't, in apocalyptic settings, really break out of I want what I had before, and don't break out of groups no matter how dysfunctional they are, because the need for security and maybe help and the social interaction is so integrated in a person. There's this game called Nether. Actually, I own it and I hate it, but the premise is really good because actually there's a bunch of monsters. I don't remember why they're monsters. I'm sure it's not important. But what's really scary in this game is the other people. And you have to sort of try and forge alliances and stay alive. Um, and you can sort of hook up with somebody, go out into whatever, and they'll kill you for your stuff. It's that simple. Um, the reason I hated playing this game is because there was a bunch of like spawn campers, so every time you spawned, somebody killed you. I mean, I did not survive this game for more than 5 minutes, and you can just say, okay, you suck at gaming. Sure I do. It's just not fun when you can't even, I mean, 5 minutes. That's ridiculous. For the starter kit. I mean, kill me when I have some shit on me at least. But what makes this game interesting is the fact that these are people sitting behind their screens and they still have mob mentality because there's no repercussion here. They can just log off and it's fine. Nobody's gonna do anything. Nobody's gonna put them in prison or even tell them they're jerks. Um, and it makes me think, you know, if it was real. I mean, this thing is so integrated in us as people. So I see no reason that I should believe that people are just more lenient or whatever if it were real. So my point is that if you strip a person of everything besides their need to survive, we will all find coping mechanisms trying to somehow fill the pyramid, to somehow feel safe, feel seen, feel needed, and have help if we need help. So if you get that from a group, if the group did something, you would do it too, because you don't want to be ousted from that. And that is what I find so fucking terrifying. It's the lengths that people will go to in order to fit in. Now I just used the apocalypse as a setting here, but really you could use it for just about anything. I find it terrifying that people will join causes that are ludicrous for the sole reason that they don't want to be left out. I don't mean to talk about sort of like dominant people and followers, because I think everybody is potentially dominating and everybody's potentially a follower. It depends on the why and the where and the hows. So yeah, people are the real monsters, if you ask me. Both in zombie movies and in movies like The Mist, it is not the monsters. It is the people. It is what we're willing to do to each other that freaks me out. And it is the fact that we all sit back in the couch and go, I would never do that. But in fact, when we let loose on the internet in something like, yeah, Nether, this is exactly what we do. We take out the weak and we form strong alliances. We want others to want to be friends with us because we're good at something. Like killing things, or I have a lot of stuff I can trade, but we want to be acknowledged. It's so rudimentary for the human psyche that I don't see why it should be any different if the rules of society just did not exist. I'm super interested in hearing what you think. And yeah, this was just a video about me babbling on about stuff that I find scary. I am going to type up a post. I have not done it yet on my blog. There's a link below here somewhere. And I'm going to I wanted to announce that me and Anne talked about doing a video together. We're still working out the kinks. I think it's gonna be something Skype with a webcam or something, and we still need to sit down and sort of make a manuscript to talk about what the hell we're gonna talk about. Um, but you can be pretty sure that it's about the new book we're trying to write. And lastly, if you never saw it, I wanted to recommend this movie, La Horde. It's a French zombie movie. I do realize the text here is what, Swedish, but it is French and it's awesome. I absolutely love it. It's super weird. It's French. It's worth it, believe me. So if you have not seen it, I think it's on Netflix actually. Go watch it. And yeah, with that, I'm gonna thank you for listening and see you next time.